Okay, good afternoon, and my name is Samuel Kwekuji Sisapo. For the course you are reading this semester, Assessment of Reflection and Industrial Attachment Portfolio. I'm supposed to present a portfolio on what transpired during my internship, which I undertook it at the Johnson Secretarial Information Consult, Sunyani in the Bunu region. So, on our first day of the visit to the place, we were shown various departments as which the organization is running. So basically, the organization is they are helping solve visual communication problems. So they do printing of banners, t-shirts, and that of marks, other stuffs. Perhaps they are into a lot. So per the department they have at their firm, they have the creative department, that is those who create the flyers, yes, coming to the flyer, the logos, yeah, so that forms under the creative department. And they have the embroidery department, that's the t-shirt printing of face towels, that of hoodies, track suits and stuffs. And we have the printing aspect. So the printing aspect is divided into two. They have the printing of books and brochures, letterheads, and they have the printing of flyers, that is posters, banners, reflective stickers, and many more. So basically, throughout my internship, I was asked to be using these three softwares, that is Photoshop, Illustrator, and CorelDRAW. So basically, the Photoshop helped me in designing flyers, and the Illustrator used in designing logos, and that of the CorelDRAW for designing the logos that were to be used for printing the t-shirt. So actually, we're using the embroidery machine for the t-shirt printing, and the embroidery machine has its own software, which is the Stitch software. So before you can send any design into the Stitch software, you have to first design it in CorelDRAW before the Stitch software can be used to stitch, and then the machine can be seen and print. So next slide is some of the logos I designed for the clients that were present during my time of internship. So this is a logo for a Kobe advertising agency, and this HO. The next slide also the same logos that I did throughout the internship. Now I also took time in designing poster design for clients, and they are also after work Friday, she's into food, and then this one too, as you can see, is also into food, and this one too into watches, and this one too into biodigesters and electrical accessories. So basically, throughout the internship, I was made to understand that I'll be doing flyers, t-shirts, and then that of a little bit of printing. So maybe every 2 weeks we change department. So if your first 2 weeks was under the printing department, your next 2 weeks will do maybe under the embroidery department, and your next week under the other department. So basically, what I took time in was the designing aspect, and so I had so many designs. Some is the designing of birthday flyers, yeah. So that one was given to me by my internal supervisor. Basically, per the customers they were having, they do some birthday flyers in order to show appreciation and then win their hearts in order to gain more contracts to do. That was what my internal supervisor told me. So we did other birthday flyers for them, and also social media ads. Some clients do not like their work to be printed, although they sometimes print their work, but mostly they are interested in the social media ads. And so these are also some ads I did for their client that came through during that time. This is also another aspect of flyers that I did. And I was asked to mount a work, so I designed a flyer for a woman who is into mobile money vending. So I was asked to design this flyer for the client, and after his approval on the design, we printed it and I was asked to mount. So that is the mounted work that I did for the client, and she was so happy. Also, we did some product labeling for a client. So basically, when she came, she had nothing in mind, so we created a logo, that is Fidel Spicy Shito. Yeah, so we created a logo, and then with the logo we helped created some flyer for a unique identity, and then we asked to put it on a mock-up for posting and all that stuff. So that is also another aspect that I did for a client. And throughout my internship, I learned how to design a book. Actually, at that firm, they are not using InDesign. They do not use InDesign to rearrange or design their books, let me say it that way. So when I was given this assignment to do, I try my best to interpret how InDesign makes the whole work, simple. And so they asked me to do something small for them to see with InDesign. So I used InDesign in doing this particular book. So per the cover I used Photoshop, but in the arrangement of the book I used InDesign. And because they are not all that familiar with the InDesign software, my boss said, okay, it's a good software though, but it will take time for the staff members to adapt into that software. So basically they took the software and tried to get familiar with it, but what they do is some designers use CorelDRAW in arranging the book, others too use Photoshop. That I think is kind of time spending, but because they are conversant with what they are doing. But me per se, throughout my attachments, I was given this brochure and I used InDesign in arranging everything. It made the work that kind of simple and attractive. So my next slides also talk about a tomb tile stone that I was asked to design for KB Odru Asante in blessed memory. Yeah, it was given to be my boss. So moving into the other department, the t-shirt design and print, because a customer will ask to see a design, how it will look on a shirt, even though when it's not printed, but how the final output will look. We're asked to put the design on a t-shirt mock-up for them. So this was a good God design that the client brought, but because the quality was that low, and so if we're supposed to go ahead and print, it won't look all that good. So I had to redesign it again and make sure I put it on a t-shirt for them in order to gain a feel of how the finished work is going to be. Yeah. So another one is also this one. I started the whole design all by myself. They just came in and said they want something to represent the youth. And so it's also actually an Assemblies of God church, and they are into so many slogans. So I try to pick out one and create something for them to look good. And per the sample designs I did, this was what they chose. Yeah. And so I also did some core cards for a client, and also some roll-up banners, which are all have been put on a pull-up stand to give them at least a feel of how the finished work is going to be. Yeah. So here are some examples of printed embroidery works We printed face towels and that of t-shirts. Yeah, so this was a 50th anniversary logo for a school, and this is also an in loving memory for one Obu Danso. Yeah, so that was a design we also did for them as well. And then here comes my evidence of work that shows I was present at the firm trying to undertake my industrial attachment. So throughout the attachment there were so many challenges though, but the major ones was the fear and then meeting deadlines. As graphic designers, we are all taught that your ability to produce and to be able to produce on time, that is the basic thing that makes you a good graphic designer. And so meeting deadlines was one of my biggest fear, because clients that you give them time, like by the close of today we are taking it, and you are not able to deliver, the client will give the pressure to my internal supervisor, and then it will descend down to me. And so I try to, although the fear was there, meeting deadline was there, but with the help of advice, speeding up work, I was able to overcome. And sometimes I and one member staff were given the permission to stay maybe throughout the night and then try and finish up a work that is, if it will be taken the next morning and we are not done, we try and seek the permission of the boss in order to stay behind and finish that work before we leave to the house. And I think that also helped build my confidence and improve my ability to meet deadlines. So experiences, I gained so many experiences, but the least I want to talk about is the effective teamwork. You see, we met a staff, and so they also welcomed us and they taught us the little bit of things they know, as far as they've been in the system for a while, and we also shared our best with them, and bringing that together made us a good collabo as far as designing, producing and execution of the work is done. Yeah, and exposure too, because you are doing your internship, they also show you client that comes around. There's our new intern, he is undertaking his internship here from the University of Education Uniba, and so you get that kind of feel to meet other people that are mainly the, let's say, the customers of that particular firm. You get that chance in meeting them, and also building customer relationship, because you get the chance in meeting them. Sometimes you are supposed to take their contact, and when the work is done you send it through them for them to confirm through your boss. So it builds that relationship between you and that of the client, and also we meet deadlines. So basically, per the internship I undertook, this was what transpired, and I've learned a lot and I really enjoyed myself during that time. Thank you very much.